everyone, this is Tamara, your courtroom companion. If you no longer are with a narcissist, either by choice or because the narcissist has discarded you, you are likely feeling the angst or the temptation to go back to the narcissist. I know that that's a common experience with some of my clients, and you may have even gone back a couple of times only to find yourself back in a very emotionally miserable state again. And in this video, I'm going to share with you why you might be tempted to go back. I'm also going to share with you 3 tips to help you to not go back because it's not a good idea. I'm also going to share with you a personal story of when I went back to the narcissist, and I'll tell you about that experience. This is the channel where we talk about family court, custody, and narcissism. So if you're interested in those 3 topics, this is the channel for you. Also, please do hit that subscribe button and that bell notification if you're new to this channel so that you'll be notified when I upload my content. And please do read my disclaimers below, as I am not a therapist or a lawyer, so don't take anything I say here as professional advice. Also, if any of this content on this channel resonates with you, I do offer one-on-one coaching to help you through those 3 topics. So I'll leave a link to the discovery call below where you can find out if coaching is right for you. So believe it or not, many of my clients find themselves in a place of going back to the narcissist. So I want you to know that you're not crazy to think about it. Even after years of abuse, narcissistic abuse, people tend to, they're tempted to want to go back. And in fact, in my own life, this happened to me as well. So I'm speaking from experience. This is a very common feeling to be tempted to want to go back. And I believe the reason people are tempted to want to go back is because they're kind of hoping that the relationship or the narcissist goes back to the way they used to be or the way the relationship used to be. And they remember that initial phase where the narcissist was on his best behavior. They were showing up in ways that you never had anyone else show up. And the reason that you feel this way is because it was like a performance. The narcissist was putting on a performance. You probably can remember back when the narcissist maybe asked you a bunch of questions and you took that as, oh, he was really interested or she was really interested in me and she was asking all kinds of questions to get to know me better. But that too was a performance. They were asking you questions to figure out what you needed in a partner so that way they could become that person. And, if you said, let's say, for example, that your partner never gave you flowers before and that really disappointed you. The narcissist will be the person to show up with all the flowers. Or let's say, you always wanted jewelry or you wanted to go on trips or you wanted a better relationship between your partner and your family. Like he would show up or she would show up in any way that you found disappointment in your prior relationships. And so in that initial phase when you were with the narcissist, he was becoming who you needed him or her to be. And so when your narcissist relationship ends, you're tempted to want to go back and, you feel like if you go back, then the narcissist will have missed you and that he or she will return to the person they used to be. And for those of you who have gone back to a narcissist, please do leave a comment below how many times you went back and if anything ever changed in that relationship when you went back. And I can tell you 100%. If you return to the narcissist and you're hoping that he goes back or she goes back to that original person, I can tell you 100% of the time when you go back, you will not get what you're hoping to get from that narcissist. Which leads me to my first tip. My first tip is that you need to fully understand that the initial phase of your relationship was just a scam. That was not the real person. The real person is the person who dropped all that game playing and facade. And it's the person you've been living with or been with for the last however long you've been with the person. Let's say you've been with the relationship 5 years. Probably the initial couple of months was the scam, and then the remaining part of the relationship was who the narcissist truly is. It's the narcissist is the person who mistreated you, who emotionally abused you, who made your life a chaotic mess. That's the real person. And you need to be able to fully accept that and embrace that. In fact, I'm going to leave a link below and above for a video I did on Will the Narcissist Ever Change? I think that'll be very helpful for you. Once the narcissist knew that you were hooked in the scam. They knew that they had you right where they wanted you. And as soon as they knew that, they began to be the person who they really are. Keeping up that scam is a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. And they know that they're doing it for the purpose of winning you over, and it gets exhausting. So then they become this other person, and you need to fully accept that that's who they are. If you did leave once and you were out for a period of time, the narcissist may start to love bomb you again and show up as that initial person. But again, it's just a scam. They never truly were that person, and so they can't keep that up for too long. But they may do that to win you back, just to mistreat you again. So tip number 1 is to fully accept that the initial part of your relationship was not real. The real part of your relationship was the rest of it. That's who the narcissist is. I told you initially that I would tell you about a personal story, and my narcissist and I split up. And during the part while I was out, the period where I was out, I ended up going to an abuse group for women, and I started to go to that on a weekly basis. I also got a cat, and when the narcissist tried to win me back, he was telling me how supportive he was of my group and that I could, that I should continue going. And he even got a cat on his end. And I think the reason he got a cat on his end was because he didn't want our son to enjoy something at my house that he also didn't have. And that's a whole nother story. But anyway, he got a cat, I got a cat. And then when we were separated, he talked about how wonderful it would be for the 2 cats to be in the same house and have our son have both cats. And he's supported both my group and this cat. Well, I went back, and shortly after I went back, going to that group became a nightmare. There was always a fight, a disagreement, the silent treatment. It was just emotionally horrible to even deal with. So it became easier just to not go. And you guessed it, the cat situation became a nightmare as well, and we ended up having to get rid of both cats. I won't tell you all the details, but it's just an example of he did whatever he needed to do to get me back, and then the things that I enjoyed doing separate from him, it just became a nightmare to continue. And tip number 2 is that if you go back to a narcissist, he will treat you worse than he did or she did when you were initially with him. And the reason for that is because the narcissist believes now that you can't live without him or her. And so when you go back, they know they really have you, that they believe and know that, man, they really treated you horrible. You were separate from him. You began this new life, and then he or she got you back, and they just know that you know that you can't live without. They know that you can't live without them, and so they just treat you worse, and it's not going to get better. And just fully. Tip number 2 is just fully embrace that it will get worse. And in fact, narcissists get worse as they get older, when their looks start to fade, when they've worn out all the relationships in their life, and people know who they are. They actually get worse. In my coaching practice, I have not had one instance where someone has gone back and things were better. Not one person has said that it's gotten better, it's gotten worse, 100% of the time. Tip number 3 is I want you to make a list of the things that you have to endure in order for the relationship with the narcissist to work. Do you have to give up family and friends? Do you have to get rid of the kind of style that you like to carry? Suppose you like to wear your hair a certain way, or your clothes are a certain way. Do you have to give all that up because the narcissist is jealous or something like that? Do you have to give that up? Do you have to give up hobbies that you enjoy? Do you have to endure severe control in your life? Do you have to do something with finances that you're not comfortable with? I want you to make a list of all the things that you yourself have to do in order to make the relationship work. And I want you to look at that list and ask yourself whether or not this relationship is worth all of that. Is it worth the emotional abuse? Is it worth the stress? Is it worth the chaos? When I see lists like that, I'm a very visual person, as I've said on this channel before, visuals help me. And when I see a visual of like a list, it helps me to really make a decision. And so I hope that that is helpful to you as well. And each time that you are considering going back, or each time the narcissist tries to win you back, I want you to have that list in hand, and you can put it on your phone so you can always have it. And just ask yourself, is this worth it? So those are my 3 tips. I hope you found them helpful. And if others in the community have other tips that they can offer the community, we'd love to see it in the comments. So please do leave a comment below. We'd love to learn from each of us. And again, if you'd like to work one-on-one with me, I do offer coaching, so do check out the discovery call in the link below. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.